Hey friends, and welcome to Praying with Charles. Today we're so excited to be sitting down with Uncle Steve up here in Sequim, Washington. Check out the backdrop behind me. Guys, it couldn't get better. Aunt Arlene has prepared this place, and when I was walking through earlier picking raspberries and strawberries and all the berries under the sun, I just caught imagery of walking with the Father in the Garden of Eden, and it's just abundance, and that's what the Lord brings. So Steve, thanks so much for coming on to Praying with Charles and sitting down for an interview. It's just a joy to be here.
Thank you for coming up.
It was just yesterday. We went out on a canoe,
Yeah.
and Jolene behind the camera, and we were out there paddling over to the, the Dungeness Lighthouse. So if you're ever in Sequim, I highly recommend you find yourself a canoe and head on out to the Dungeness Lighthouse.
You know, I was born in a missionary family in Chile, and I was the hellion of our family up until I was 12 years old. Mom was seriously thinking about sending me to some boarding school somewhere, and I really did create a terrible environment. I was angry. I would ice Mom. I wouldn't ice Dad or my brothers, two brothers, but I would ice Mom when I was angry with her. I wouldn't talk to her for like a week at a time. And even knowing that I was suffering myself, I hated what I was doing inside my mind, but I had this determination that I wasn't going to let her off easy, and I was not going to talk to her. No good morning, no good night, no thank you, no nothing, even though she's right there in the room eating supper with us, the one she prepared. Yeah, she was about ready to give me away. And to be like that in a missionary's family with that kind of a disposition was risky for Dad and Mom's ministry, until the Holy Spirit got a hold of me. When I was 12 years old, we went to a camp that the whole church yearly celebrated in Chile, kind of another city outside of Santiago, the capital. And it was a right out camping place. We just slept outside, no tents or anything, just on hay and our sleeping bags, and we cooked over a fire, did everything. We had a children's camp, kind of separate from the rest of the church camp, and there's a big tent. You know, every night we had a big meeting, big worship service in the big tent, but then we had separate types of activities for the children. And I remember one morning, it was about 11 in the morning, our minister, the children's minister, was preaching to us. She was Raquel Varas. I'll never forget her name. She was a student at the Bible school that Dad and Mom were in charge of. And she was so anointed by God. She just pleaded with us. We were just spellbound by her message. Sitting on hay, just everywhere, totally informal. We had kind of a canvas fence around us. You know, it's probably about 5 feet high, maybe 4 feet high, just for a little bit of privacy within our little camp. And we were inside of that enclosure when all of a sudden we just started speaking in tongues.
Wow. All
of us. Younger ones, older ones, and I did too. It was just really something, because even today, I just can't get over how God got a hold of us. The whole camp, all the adults in the camp, you know, it was midday, so they weren't doing anything in particular. And they were crowded around our enclosure, just wanting to see. Like, thought of Jerusalem. People rushed to that upper chamber. They wanted to see what was going on. Wow, this wind. What's that sound? And it was we, the children,
Hey, man.
worshiping God. From that day forward, I became so mellow, so loving, so wonderful for my parents in their ministry. I just got right in behind them throughout my teens.
Amen.
We had some moves that we made in Chile. We went to a new place, and I was just so excited about everything that we did. And Mom and Dad were just amazed. And that's when they told me, after they saw that turnaround in my life, that they were thinking about sending me somewhere else to save. And instead they kept me because I was actually something that they were blessed by. So, boy, that was the biggie, the first one, that I'll never ever forget.
And the imagery that came up behind that, the people, the family, the parents, the neighbors.
It's contagious too. It was like it was like the fire was happening with the children right in there, and it was just like spreading out to the adults out beyond,
Crazy.
and then there were healings in the neighborhoods and some neighboring ranches and farms and people living that live there. They were healed from diseases and things. Gosh, it was so real.
That's so good. That's so good.
Does it move me yet? Yeah, I can't talk about it without remembering this so fondly. Like it happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. So I just think, even after that event, of course, I became an adult, came to the United States and graduated from college, went to UCLA and joined the Air Force and learned to fly, became an instructor pilot, and I thought my life was really taking on the color of my dreams. I wanted to be a pilot, and I wanted to be in the Air Force, and I kept asking God to help me with my dreams. Would you just make this possible? Would you let me pass this Air Force officer qualifying test? I passed everything. I passed the math, even. I passed the English. I passed all the parts of the test. The flying parts, there were parts where pictures of airplanes, and you had to identify their attitude, and pictures of the ground from different angles and different cloud covers, and you had to identify the bridges and the roads in the town. And I just passed all that with flying colors, but I failed the psychological portion of the Air Force officer qualifying test. So I cried out to God, "Oh God, help me! What do I need to do?" And the people that were giving me the test at UCLA, they allowed me to take it over again and kind of coached me on what the Air Force wanted me to say. And so I passed, and I went in and did it. And I thought God was supposed to be helping me, achieve a name and a success and, an accomplishment of the dreams. I thought he'd just give you a dream and then he would help you. But that wasn't the case. After I went into I call it my Jonah.
Oh, yep.
My Jonah.
Yeah.
Jonah, the prophet, period of my life. Because I got out of the Air Force and I came here to live, and I got a job flying for a commuter airline right here, going to SeaTac and various other places, even Vancouver and Victoria, British Columbia, carrying passengers, 9 passenger airplanes and 15 passenger airplanes, and going great guns. And God caused the company to fail The company crashed. Well, they sold out to Horizon Airline. So I didn't have a job. And I just literally came down the street that same day, my last flight, and I hired on with another little airline that was flying right out of Sequim here. And I flew for them for 2 years, and that company sank out from under me.
Wow.
And then a year and a half later, a third company comes up. A guy from California comes up, buys some airplanes, wants to fly commuters and stuff, and asked me if I would come and fly. I said, sure. Third company went down after about a year and a half, and it was like God was saying, "No, that's not what I want you to do."
Wow.
But you let me train in the Air Force, but no buts. You do my will. It's my turn
Hey,
now.
man.
You do what I want you to do.
That's good.
So here I am. I'm doing it right. I switched. I switched from God helping me to just letting Him tell me what to do.
Wow.
And
So how did that look like in your prayer life when that switch happened? What were you saying that you used to say that you're not saying anymore?
yes, God.
Oh, okay. So
I read that prayer that Jonah prayed in the belly of the fish.
Oh.
Very repentant, very
Wow.
turning around in his heart type thing. And I realized then that God is just completely, totally in charge of His creation. He has put Jesus in complete control of all authorities and principalities, and every name, every minute of my life is under His total and hands-on control, I think. And to recognize that I do belong to Him, and I am His vested interest. He is invested in me. And I don't understand why. What do I have? Am I going to? Was flying a qualification that I was offering up to God and say, God, I can fly for you,
Right.
Well, yeah, I don't need that. What I need is, and He put me in the church. He had me just.
Yeah.
This is where I want you, and this is where I want you to stay. And so, I'm just obeying Him day by day with it. As needs in the church come up, as challenges come from the people that come to church, and different kinds of needs, spiritual needs, social needs, marital needs, physical needs. I'm delighted
Right.
to do His will. Yeah.
And you guys are only getting 15, 20 minutes with Uncle Steve, but spending lifetime now, and especially this past weekend, and understanding the peace that He has and the walk with the Lord that's flowing and adapting, able to put the trust in such a deep, deep level has just been attractive, has just been awesome. So I don't know if the homework for you is to read the book of Jonah and emphasize on that prayer. Maybe there's something that you're going through right now, or you're thinking about, that God's telling you to dig into that. But there's certainly, each and every one of us could head back into the book of Jonah and understand that, and that ability to let go of our life and find that peace. Because especially today, in such a stressed out world, and so many things coming, and kids running out the door, and jobs, and different kind of bosses and stuff, you might need that peace to know that you're on the right track. I think that we all search for that all the time. We're all wanting to know, am I doing what God really wants me to be doing? Am I on the right path? We've struggled, my wife and I, thinking through these things over the years, and we've had just years and years of peace now, and confidence that we're, sometimes it just doesn't matter. Ecclesiastes says it so clear, but life is meaningless. And Paul says to die is gain, to live is Christ. So we think the rest of our period on this earth, we just want to be walking with the Lord, and
Excellent.
so good. So
Yeah.
thinking of these guys and where they may or may not be at, what kind of advice on prayer could you give them?
I would urge all Christians, all people who believe in Jesus Christ, to lean into, to move toward understanding how pervasive His presence is, how absolute His authority is, how very, very present He is in our bodies, in our hearts, our emotions. That to speak with Him is just as natural as breathing.
Amen.
A breath is a prayer. Back and forth. His breathing is His infusion to us. You know, believe it or not, our prayer, our exhaling our soul to Him is an infusion to Him. Wow, that we're that close that our breaths mingle. It's an intimate relationship, and to walk and have that awareness as you're walking, to drive and have that awareness as you're driving, to eat and have that awareness as you're eating, just this presence, constant presence. Right? I don't know, is he right here? Maybe He's right here. You know, if you could spray something
Right.
that would define the shape,
yeah.
he'd be right here, you know. And yet it's by faith that we do actually see Him that way. That faith is that substance that we color our environment and our life with, that really defines God right in front of us, you know, all the time. We see Him with special eyes.
Yeah. See, this is why we go out to the ends of the earth. We say, come with us as we travel to the ends of the earth to witness the power of prayer firsthand. And this video is why we do it, because you've entered a realm that's so dynamic about prayer, that's, I want to say taking it deeper, but not taking it deeper. Because sometimes we go too deep in a different area of prayer, and you're saying God is right there. Everything we do, it's going deep, but it's also, it's like lifting a heaviness off of how should I pray.
Yeah.
You've peeled all that back and just said God is.
Oh yeah.
When you breathe in and out, when you drive down the road, when you talk with friends, you're
I feel Him chuckling with me when I'm doing something or thinking something kind of off the wall.
Yeah.
I feel Him going, tell me more. You know, I feel, he's so real. He's so personable. He's so tuned.
Yeah.
We're on the same frequency. Finally, we're on the same frequency. You know, it's a matter of, you know, He came and gave it to us. He gave us the whole everything. He gave us all the forgiveness, and He's showing us how to tune to the very narrow positioning of our lives to be hearing, communing with Him like that. To walk in tune is so good, you know.
It sure is. Yeah, it sure is. Sometimes I use the analogy of when you go bowling, they put the gutter rails up for kids, like God's those getting you back centered, and maybe one day God will let them down, and we'll kind of know how to get down the.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. This is my Jonah effect.
Okay.
He really did narrow down. No, you're not going to the left. No, you're not going to the right. You're staying with me in the middle. You know, and if we follow Jesus, okay. We're supposed to, right? You know, His example, He's the firstborn of many of us, brothers who are going to, well, He used Jonah as an example. I'm like Jonah, you know, so I'm going to say the same thing. Well, I'm like Jonah too, then.
That's good, yeah. Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, friends, this is what we do over here at Praying with Charles. If you just joined us for the first time, we would love for you to become a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button and the bell and you'll get notified anytime we put a video out. Right now we're in the Pacific Northwest, way up here. If you stand on the rooftop, you could see Canada. Friends, it's so beautiful up here. Make sure and canoe out to that little lighthouse if you're in the area, and put your butt in a pew over at the Little Brown Church. If you're here in Sequim,
Yeah.
you'll enjoy it, every minute of it.
Come on.
There's some amazing fellowship over here. So guys, we just love you so much. May the Lord bless you. May He cause His face to shine upon you. May He give you grace and peace and abundance. I pray as you press into the Word of God that He reveals His character and His goodness and His joy for you. If there's something you're struggling with or you want some prayer, please put a comment down below, and we love to get to each and every one of those. Until the next video, guys, we love you, and we'll see you then.